Started with sand expanding, build it with metaverse brand, immerse the central land, and TCG world expanding, creating worlds expanding, each month give away 10 grand, storm riders and fans, submit your started with the game jam, now you want go, didn't care at first, but now you wanna know, wanna work in the metaverse, tell you where to go, bear make it through the sandstorm, that's a really pro, get your target, get your assets on the market, bully bulldoze in the bear market, that's the magic, that's the carpet, here comes sandstorm for the artists, dizzy, sandstorm, started with sand expanding, build it with metaverse brand, immerse the central land, and TCG world expanding, creating worlds expanding, each month give away 10 grand, storm riders and fans, submit your big old hand, submit your bid, get your wallet lit, your artist audience, and build your client list, your target, get your assets on the market, bully bulldoze in the bear market, that's the magic, that's the carpet, here comes sandstorm for the artists, started with sand expanding, build it with metaverse brand, immerse the central land, and TCG world expanding. Land's getting scarce out there, oh yeah, better buy land than a bear, it could be your brand / chance, get out there, you can stake on your land, your community your land while you earning. Game making 8.0 coming out real soon, we gon' learn it. Streaming videos in the metaverse, got my wheels got the best artists in the industry working. Travel through the sandstorm, it was worth it. Your collection will be perfect with the sandstorm metaverse building person.
All right, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another SandStorm Meetup. Today, I'm joined by Mooney from the Squishiverse. Mooney, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. It's a pleasure being up here. Thank you for inviting me.
I appreciate you coming on. Love the Squishiverse. You know, I've been watching the Squishiverse pretty much since the mint, and you know, I'm excited to talk about the project today.
Thanks, man. I think we're about almost exactly a month out from our 1 year anniversary, and sort of just been going crazy ever since we minted, just nonstop until now, and it's going to continue being like that.
I was about to say, time flies. Does not seem like it's been that long, but yeah, it has pretty much almost been a year since the mint. Usually like to start out with a little bit of an introduction. If you'd like to tell, you know, the people watching a little bit about yourself, you know, what role you play on the Squishiverse, and kind of what got you into the crypto and NFT space.
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Mooney. I got into the space like a year and a half ago. I got into the space just as someone who, you know, I was at university at the time. I was going to go on to med school, and I saw crypto and NFTs. I was like on the sideline, and I found it as a way to make money, sort of as everyone else enters the scene.
Yeah.
And the first project that I minted was actually the Sappy Seals. And Sharp may know me from my OG days in the Seals, being a community manager and so on.
I do.
Yeah, so I got in as someone who wanted to make, you know, a quick buck, and just the whole community aspect type of thing just really enticed me to Web3. You know, that is what, you know, made me change my whole, you know, life plan. It went from, you know, wanting to go into med school. I'd pretty much done like, you know, I'd done all the tests and everything, just had to finish my degree because in Australia it's a different, you know, sort of pathway. But I just became so enticed to Web3 and just became an absolute degenerate. And I was like, this is my life, you know? Like I just was that drawn in. And the Squishiverse came to me as an idea. Oh man, I always get mixed up with the years now that it's 2023.
Yeah.
At the end of 2021,
probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had an idea with my friends, you know, we'll just like, you know, at first it started off as like, wanted something to be super simple, you know, it was just like every other project is trying to make like, you know, what's the next animal that no one has done yet? You know, like, what are we going to do? We're going to make like terrifying pterodactyls, you know, that's where the space was at that time.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, I want to get something that's simple. I want to make something that people, you know, will bond with, something that's super cute. And I had met, you know, this artist, Four Leaf Clover. She is also behind, you know, the Seals rebrand at the moment. She's done everything with the Squishiverse. artist behind Kikiverse. She's pretty prominent in the space.
Yeah.
You know, she's had a lot of big people buy into her artwork, like 9x9x9, Vincent Van Gogh, some other people that I can't remember, but she's a pretty prominent artist. And you know, her journey in Web3, you know, I've pretty much met her when she started in NFTs as well. And she had lost her job due to COVID. She went into NFTs, and, you know, she's from Thailand. You know, English was like, you know, super broken. And as someone who's half Asian myself, and my mother goes through the same thing. So it was very easy for me to, you know, help her in the space. And, you know, just the whole community aspect of Web3 and that, you know, empowerment towards creators was, you know, it gave her, you know, the opportunity to make a living, you know, and provide for her family when she was out of a job and didn't know what to do. And, you know, it was amazing seeing the power that people can have. And I wanted her, you know, I wanted to replicate that. You know, I always said that, you know, she is like the embodiment of the project.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I really wanted it to, you know, we were the project that we're going to continuously support artists, support the underdogs, you know, get people into this space where, you know, it can be very hard to get into the space. You know, I was degenerate. I spent like a year just, you know, grinding away at everything. But, you know, especially for artists, developers, if you don't have this stacked portfolio or no connected people in the space, it can be very hard to, you know, get established. And
Yeah.
you know, that was, you know, the whole driving point for me to make the Squishiverse. And then, you know, it just grew and grew and continues to grow, you know, into this absolute beast that we're working towards. But yeah, I could probably ramble on for days, but I hope that's a good, you know, origin storyline.
No, yeah, the perfect origin story. I was gonna ask you, how did like your family and friends feel about you, you know, stopping med school to be an NFT degen?
Yeah, I know. I think like it was pretty hard with you know, I'm very fortunate to have a good supporting family.
Yeah,
You know, my dad went through you know, like he was on and off with university, and later on in his life went back. And you know, my mother was a bit like harder to, you know, convince her. And yeah, pretty much all my closest friends at the moment, you know, I still hang out with these guys. Like they're all in med school.
mm-hmm.
And so, you know, I see them, you know, like every 3 months or whatever, because they're just like, you know, just in med school, just studying
Grinding
all the
away.
time. Yeah, have absolutely no time. You know, get like 2 weeks holidays when they finish their semesters. And, you know, it was hard to explain to them because, you know, it, especially the sentiment that a lot of people have who, when they don't hear, I mean, when they don't know a single thing, all they've heard is, you know, these ugly apes are selling for 6 figures. They're like,
Yeah,
what is this money laundering? You know, what is this, all this stuff? At first it's like hard to, you know, explain it to them and show that it's worth. But then, you know, you get to a point where, hey, I can show you, I have thousands of holders. I have, you know, this amount of followers on social media. Look at, you know, my Giphy where I'm about to reach 100 million views on that.
mm-hmm.
You know, like the merchandising behind it, the platforms I'm building, you know, just all the simple stuff. And they're like, oh, wow, this is actually like really cool. You know, it's not some Ponzi scheme, you know, where they're like, well, you know, what is this? You know, after a while showing off the products, they're like, oh, okay, I can understand it now. But yeah, it was, you know, like over a year, I just
Yeah,
was in the trenches to then be able to show them, like, you know, this was a worthwhile endeavor of mine.
yeah. No, 100%. I think a lot of people on the outside looking in don't really get it. You know, whenever I explain NFTs to people, they're not. I mean, and there's just like you said, there's so many different sides. You know, there's the money side, but then there's also like, you know, the community side, and you know, like you mentioned with 4-Leaf Clover, which I do want to give a shout out, by the way. If you guys don't know, 4-Leaf Clover, the artist for Squishiverse, and she's done art for many other projects. You guys should definitely check her out, check her work out. You know, NFTs pretty much changed her life. As you said, like she was, you know, had lost her job and didn't know how she was going to support her family. And, you know, NFTs pretty much, I would say, probably changed her life.
Yeah, and the thing is that you know, it was also, you know, sort of a dream of hers, because she's also been, you know, a previous job of hers was being an animator, being a teacher behind drawing and animation, and it was a dream to have an animation studio, and you know, we were able to fulfill that dream,
Yeah.
and especially when, you know, the market was facing downturn, you know, previously she had lost her job as well. You know, we were able to provide salaries for these people where, you know, they were very uncertain about their future and, you know, what to do. They'd all like lost their jobs, and you know, we're able to provide a salary for these people to continue, you know, providing for their families, as well as, you know, creating this in-house animation we have, which, and I really want to build the IP of that. But
Yeah.
yeah, you know, the whole NFT world has changed her life, her family, and the people surrounding her. You know, like she has a studio at this point where she has a bunch of her, you know, ex-students and other people she's met along the way, you know, helping her with, you know, being an absolute beast, pumping out content. Yeah, it's just like, you know, the space can be absolutely life changing, and yeah, I love to see it. I've been very close with her since, you know, the very beginning of her NFT journey, and you know, it's amazing seeing, you know, how much it can do to someone.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. Love to see it. Back on the topic of Squishy, I know we kind of went off a little bit there. You know, 8,888 Squishies, like you said, minted. I want to say it was like around February you guys minted.
Yeah, it's February 10th.
Yeah. And one of the like the first major, you know, utilities that you guys had of the Squishies was staking and earning slime. I believe you guys have, I want to say like around 80% Squishies are staked.
Yeah, we've had that for, you know, like for me, it feels like 10 years,
Yeah.
but we've had 80% plus minimum for the past like 6-8 months at least. We reached 50% within a day. So we've got, you know, these people who are just like, you know, crazy on board with the vision. But yeah, we've had staking for slime. It's a rarity based. And I want to confidently say that we were the first people to execute on a completely gasless marketplace without having to switch to a sub network like Polygon or, you know, a bit. I can't even say the name. I always get it mixed up. You know, Arbitrum or whatever the other one is. Yeah, I always get mixed up. Yeah. Ours is like you don't have to switch any networks. Claiming rewards is gasless. Buying anything on our marketplace is gasless. You know, like we've done whitelists, we've done raffles for, you know, Nintendo Switches and stuff.
Yeah.
Bunch of NFTs, the ability for your Squishy to be in our animation, in our gifts, and so on. We've got NFT loot boxes as well, all completely gasless. And yeah, we've had that in place since I think we came out with staking March.
It was pretty early on, you guys, because I remember that was one of the big things that a lot of people were spending slime on was, you know, the whitelist spots, because this was during the era when everyone was in Discord grinding for hours to try to get whitelist for some project that was gonna rug and I'm kidding. Just anything I got whitelisted for ended up rugging. But no, you guys were doing whitelisted for things such as Boki, which ended up, you know, going over one Ethereum floor. And if people were to spend slime to get into a raffle, they could have won a whitelist for that instead of, you know, grinding on Twitter or grinding into Discord. And I don't think I'd ever seen any other project doing something like that. And like you said, IRL stuff such as Nintendo Switches, you guys were giving away different NFTs like Sappy Seals, Plagues, Fishy Fam was one of them, I remember. Just a lot of different things that you were able to use the slime for. Are you guys still doing you know, raffles like that currently?
Yeah, so, you know, it was great when, there was like super hype projects,
Yeah.
such as Bucky and Vivid and Arcade and like BF Party. Those guys were like super hype,
Yeah.
and it was great when the market was like that. But as soon as there was like downturn in the market, the quality of projects wasn't as great. Um, it sort of was like we don't really want to charge Slime for, stuff like an AI project that might rug, but you also have a chance of flipping for like $30.
Yeah.
We don't really want, to charge Slime for that, but it's still a very core part of what we do. We want to constantly provide value back to our project and our holders. I think we did the maths. I've got a crazy collab team, shout out to them. I did the maths of getting all the projects we've collabed with. It's over 500 projects,
Oh wow.
and getting the ones that have been profitable. Obviously the statistic is crazy because it assumes with all the spots we had and given out, if people minted and sold at all-time high, we did the statistic based off of that, and it was over 800 ETH in profits.
Oh my god.
Um, like we've had, the ability to get super hype projects, such as Bucky, where their mint was 0.06 and the all-time high was over 1 ETH.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a big, assumption, but like we've cemented these projects who can be profitable for other holders. And as the market has changed, especially with how things are right now, we do it all through like Alphabot and Discord.
Mhm.
The marketplace, we utilize for like loot boxes and all that stuff, and we can bring whitelist back onto the marketplace. We can do whatever, but like I think at the moment how myself and the collab team view the space, it's almost quantity over quality, because there's not a lot of quality projects coming out these days.
Yeah.
And there's always the chance where, there's a free mint that all the degens catch on to, and someone can mint for $4 and flip it for like $30 within like 5 minutes. And
Shout out feet pics.
dude, they're crazy. And then ass pics the next day.
Yeah.
Who would have known? But I think like we have like 7. I think tomorrow we have like 7 giveaways in our Discord, and we've been having multiple giveaways a day for our holders, just so in case there's that one project that does pop off, they can mint it and flip it. But yeah, I'd say the main utility with Slime at the moment is especially the NFT loot boxes, because one of them is stacked. It's got the seal, it's got the plague, it's got Froggy Friends. That one is absolutely stacked.
Yeah.
I remember the day that came out. It's all probably fair, and we show the odds on it, and we've got a Twitter bot that when someone wins an NFT, it posts, and it
Mhm.
was like within the first 30 minutes, someone had rolled a Sappy seal. And I was like, oh my God. I was freaking out thinking our code was messed up, because I was like, we are about to get drained. But someone just got super lucky. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God. But yeah, we've had that. And then we had a slime sync. We've got another utility token for a game that we're very close to launching, a 2D dungeon crawler Descent. We had a burn mechanism in play. And that was like that was utility for Slime, and then there's also utility for this new token as well, which we can talk on soon as well. I feel like I'm just like I could talk as long as like a Game of Thrones series with everything we're building. So feel free to cut me off whenever.
No, you're good. I did want to talk about Descend, your guys' dungeon crawler that you got coming out. You had mentioned, so you have to burn slime to get the token for this game.
Yeah, so the biggest thing we want is the game will be seasonal. We want it to have multiple seasons, and we want it to get to a point where it becomes a self-funding protocol and a prize pool which grows as there's more player base behind it.
Yeah.
And so the game's all about risk and reward. It uses something called tier. There's lore behind it where There's the weeping maiden, you know, in this thing, and it's very like mysterious and wanting to, you know, wanting to like deep dive into this dungeon and do whatever. And so to reward early supporters, we opened up the burn for slime into tier, because tier is going to be used to, you have to use tier to enter. There's a tier shop where you're going to be able to buy like potions, specific items, and so on. And so we open up that swap for slime holders, and then also integrated tokens, such as, you know, we had SOS, you know, the open DAO token, which was integrated as well. And we open it up to a bunch of partners to, you know, get them involved. And then, you know, as we get closer to our launch, we cut the swap off. And then, you know, we have something called a dungeon pass, which is free tier entry. And then we also have like daily and weekly tasks. We have gonna have, you know, the ability for everyone to earn tier for free. And it's going to be through, you know, growth incentivized type tasks, such as, you know, having to, you know, tweet about it. And we use our own, you know, engagement technology to, you know, check someone's tweet, and if it has, you know, like descend in the title and so on, and they earn these points, which then they can use to get tier, which then they can, you know, use to play in the game. And yeah, the game is all about, you know, it has a leaderboard. Like this first season is our alpha season, and we're fronting a 10K USDC minimum prize pool. We want it to be competitive. You know, the aim of the game is to descend into the cave as much as possible. If you see on the screen in the top left, you see how there's like the little, you know, it's like a stamina bar. Every move you make will diminish your energy. Yeah.
Okay.
And it will chip away at your score, but your score will increase from going deeper into the cave, getting loot, killing mobs. And so it's like sort of min-maxing in every aspect. You know, you want to use as little turns as possible while killing as many mobs and getting as deep into the cave as possible. And that's what, you know, dictates your score. And this is represented on the leaderboard, which then, you know, we use to reward people through the prize pool. But yeah, we want it to be extremely competitive, and we've built technology behind it where, you know, we're pretty confident that it's not going to be able to be exploited. You know, our dev team is like absolutely cracked. They were degenerates as well. And, you know, in Web 2, in the most popular games, you know, FPSs, MMORPGs, you name it, they botted and exploited everything. And so they were like, in, you know, a crypto native game where, you know, some of these like rare items, you will be able to make them NFTs. And, you know, you can either, you know, transfer it or sell it, do whatever. And yeah, in a game where there's, you know, stakes like that, there's a monetary prize pool, and, you know, you have to, you know, risk your tier to enter. You know, we need to make sure that it can't be exploited in any way. And so, you know, the game is completely server side. All progress is saved on servers, and we made it turn-based, which you can see on the screen at the moment. You know, you'll see those little green, you know, tiles, which represents where you can move. And then if you hover over an enemy, it shows you can attack them. Making it turn-based makes it so like it's a lot easier to detect, and it's pretty much impossible for someone to exploit it.
Yeah. So you'll know if someone is doing something to exploit it, you'll probably be able to see that they did something.
Yeah, and we've built this whole verification system in our backend to then be able to verify someone's whole playthrough. Because since it's turn-based, you can record everyone's movements. You know, something where the movement is free is a lot harder to, you know, record and, you know, monitor. But when it's turn-based, you get to see every single move they do. And, you know, you'll be able to replicate someone's playthrough. You know, maybe at the end of the season, if, you know, someone wants to see like, you know, who got top place, what was their run like, we can then get their run and have people be able to watch it as well, because we can just replicate it because we know all the steps they've made. So yeah, I'm really excited for this game, honestly. Where I'm going to be ramping up the marketing for it because we have a date where we want to launch. Don't know if I want to leak it yet,
No alpha.
but we have a date. You'll see a lot more information behind it because yeah, this game it's a beast. You know, we've had our mods and internally test it, and they're just like, man, it's so addictive but so hard. Which is like
Yeah.
that's the whole premise of the game. That's the whole thing we wanted was it's hard, but it's addicting.
Mm-hmm.
You see people playing like Dark Souls and all that stuff where those games are just incredibly hard, but people keep playing. They want to, do better, and they want to. You have people doing runs where like I saw it on YouTube the other day. This guy has spent over a year doing this run where it's like every single Dark Souls gameplay, like every single Dark Souls game, he has to complete without getting, without taking
damage.
without taking 1 point of damage. And it took him like a year to do it.
Yeah, those people are insane.
Yeah. I want those madmen to, play this because they're going to be rewarded for their efforts.
Yeah.
Through that prize pool and through also NFTs because every single game you play, it builds XP. You have I may have sent a screenshot which shows all the skills. I can't remember, but every playthrough you will build XP. So you're not going to lose progress with. Oh, there we go. You're not going to lose progress with building your character, and so you learn over time. And just by playing the game more, seeing the specific weaknesses that mobs will have towards your skills and specific weapons and so on. I want it to get to this point where people are degenning the game because they're, addicted to wanting to better their score and then wanting to be rewarded for it.
Yeah.
And if we can grow this, like our vision is crazy for this. Like I really want to grow this into something where, it becomes a self-funding protocol, and I want to have like the ability to have $100,000 prize pool and all this stuff with multiple seasons. And we're going to be experimental with it with extra seasons. We're not afraid to be out of the box, experiment with new models and all that stuff. Because end of the day, these people are going to be rewarded with fat amount of money, and we want to make a good game. We don't want to just do a cut and copy of like something like DeFi Kingdom or Axie Infinity, where we're trying to like Ponzi our way into a game. This is an actual game, and the way you earn is by being competitive and good at the game.
Yeah, it's not just get on and make the same 10 moves every day and then earn and then get off. You got to actually be good at the game to earn.
Yeah. And I think like we haven't leaked it yet, but I will be leaking it soon. It's just a mechanism behind our scoring on the leaderboard. The only thing you will be able to see on the leaderboard as a user, in terms of other people's scores, is the furthest level they've reached. But you're not going to be able to see the specific score they achieved, because everyone could get to, like level 6, but one person could have just been terrible with their move selection, and their score would be terrible. The other person could have, found some optimized route, and they know exactly what skills to use when facing certain mobs, what items to use, and they've just like, mastered their way through the playthrough. And we want it to be, in terms of the person wanting to grind to the top, it's a strategy of how can I better my run, and what are other people doing to be better than me. We want people to constantly strategize and come up with that, and not have all the information at their at the tips of their fingers. They'll see what score they'll see what level they've reached, but they're not going to know exactly what they've done. We want people to constantly want to better themselves, and I think that's a pretty cool mechanic we're going to bring. You'll see like the leaderboards in real time show one's like ENS or wallet address and the furthest level they've completed, but only to the user themselves privately, they'll see their like actual score, like their actual number. But
Yeah.
everyone else, they'll just see the level they've achieved. And yeah, I just like everyone's finding it so hard in our in our quality testing, and we've had someone who's been like an ex-professional gamer reach our last stage, and he's like, dude, this is hard. He was sending us like Dark Souls gifts being like, this is your game. But yeah, I'm super excited for it. We're ramping up a lot more of information because yeah, we're very close to releasing. Like I have a date in mind, and yeah, so much more information is going to be coming out.
Awesome. And if people are watching the stream, they want to know where they're going to find this information. Where's the best place they can go to find this?
I got 3 accounts for you. You know, there's the first one is at DescendGG. That's going to be the Twitter solely just for Descent. Okay. That would be like once we launch, everything will be under that. The Squishiverse main one will have the post leading up to it. And then for like future updates and like small little bits of alpha, QQ NFTs, our lead developer behind it, he loves to show the alpha behind the project, behind some of the reasons he's made certain mechanics in the game, and he'll show off certain sneak peeks and all that stuff. So those are the 3 accounts that pretty
those people should look out for.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, and yeah, the Descend GG Twitter is we haven't launched that yet, but we've got like 10 threads drafted up already and ready to go with gameplay mechanics and how one can better their score or the difference between certain items and so on. So that's going to be the the real meaty bit of the game. All that information will be on that Twitter.
Now, will you guys integrate any NFTs into the game? Like, will people be able to use their Squishy if they own a Squishy or any other NFT communities?
Yeah. So at the moment, I think we've shown off the character selection. It was sort of an homage to the projects that are close to us and the projects that we show respect to. So like the one you see at the moment is a frog, which is representative of the Plague and Froggy friends, for me at least, because these guys are very close to us, and they're both of them are great communities. We just have general I think there's like 5 or 6 characters that are based off of NFT projects for one to play in. I think later on it can definitely be a possibility to play as your own Squishy. It's just that we'd have to get animations hand drawn for all of them. Yeah. And that's sort of something where I'm exploring in the 3D platform we're making. Like all 8,888 Squishies, like as we currently speak, are being made in 3D as a profile picture version, but completely rigged in game, ready to play. And yeah, that's where I'm putting all the resources in, is this 3D aspect, because I think that's going to be crazy, being able to play as your own Squishy in this world. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking super forward to it.
And you also mentioned that there will be different items and stuff that you'll be able to get on the marketplace. Now, will you get those items with Slime, or will you get those with Tier?
It will be through Tier.
Okay.
And yeah, Tier is the sole utility token of Descend, and we want it to be quite scarce. It's a non-transferable ERC20 token. It's not something where you sell it off like SLP or something like that. It's a strict utility token that's going to be used in our system, and there will be ways to earn it, additional ways to earn it as well, such as, like I mentioned before, the engagement growth type technology we're bringing. And yeah, it's all going to be through that, and then yeah, the store will be all in tier, and it's going to have potions, it's going to have items, it's going to have stuff to replenish your health or energy and so on. Yeah, we've got so much coming for it.
Awesome. Yeah, make sure you guys check out all those links in chat so you guys can stay up to date on Descend. Since Mooney doesn't want to leak any alpha on the show, you have to wait and see the alpha leaks on Twitter.
I've got a lot. But yeah, I can confirm that the game's going to be out before the end of the month. That's some alpha which I don't think I've leaked, or perhaps I have and I can't remember, but definitely before the end of the month is what I'm aiming for. And yeah, from now until the game release, it's just going to be like an info dump of everything we have, because all the sneak peeks and all that stuff is just the tip of the iceberg for this game we're making.
Nice. And I mean, I'm sure that a lot of the squishy holders are excited to see you guys are releasing stuff in, I guess, what we would consider a bear market, because a lot of projects have just gone away, faded away, and aren't really doing anything. But you guys are one of the few that have survived, and you've maintained a healthy floor price, and it shows you guys are still building and working on stuff. So that's awesome to see.
Yeah, like our team works 100% on the Squishiverse, and we all hold the same vision for it, and all of us just want to make an absolute IP powerhouse in all domains. And we're just absolute degenerates. I had a lot of people, especially when the market tanked hard, like Ethereum 900 and all that stuff. I had a lot of people say, like, have you considered just pausing the project completely? And I was like, we could never do that. As a team, there's no chance we could completely just stop developing this. It's like the passion we have for this project would never allow us to do such a thing.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is that I think we are a small project in terms of our team, and in terms of like floor price compared to others, but we've delivered and executed more than 99% in the space, and we'll continue to execute and deliver at this quality we have. This is something that's attached to our name now. People know us as this team who are constantly working and delivering, because we're not gonna we're not gonna rug holders, say like, here's XYZ, and then just dip completely, or take 6 million years to develop. The 3D game that you see on the screen at the moment is the grander vision. We're creating that, but we know that takes a lot of time to develop. This, especially 3D games, that is like a whole new beast. And so this is the grand vision. We're creating stuff, such as building. This is on squishy land. It will take a long time, and so we wanted to make a game in the meantime, which is a deliverable under the Squishiverse brand that people have. It's something we've executed on, and it's gonna constantly be there to reward our holders. It's always going to be a thing to reward our holders and the people closest to us, but also as a mechanism to grow the project. And I think it's just crazy that we're a small team, but even Descend itself is something that projects would take.
Yeah, I mean, for as you keep saying you guys are a small team, but you guys have done a lot of stuff, and like we said, you guys haven't even been minted out for a year. So definitely a lot of things. You just mentioned Squishy Lands, which was another thing I kind of wanted to touch on. You guys released that. I forget what month that was. It was sometime last year.
I want to say like closer to like June.
Yeah, I want to say it was sometime in the summer. You guys came out with Squishy Lands.
It was like June, perhaps. And yeah, that was our first true expansion into this 3D metaverse platform that we want to build out. The grand vision of it, this requires funding, which I'll be seeking this year as well. If you're familiar with MapleStory, that's something I want to create, like Web 2, Web 3, like MapleStory. The grand vision is to create, a spectacular MMORPG, or, meta RPG, as some call it. But, that requires a bunch more funding. But in the meantime, we're executing on these metaverse aspects, and what you're seeing on the screen at the moment is built completely by our holders. A big thing behind it is that it's completely customizable to holders. They publish this build, and it's reflected, on all the secondary markets, and people can go in, they can buy it if they want. Maybe they buy a plot of land and they don't want it anymore, so they can reset the plot. We've got a bunch of templates in case, you're like me and you're not creative with building and you suck, or you've got no time.
That would be me.
A big thing behind it was being able to create what you want. And, we want to incentivize like a builder's market, especially as we expand later this year with, we're going to be bringing in an interactive map showing off all the plots in this map. And we're going to bring in multiplayer for, all the squishies and other NFT projects. When we bring all this in, we really want to incentivize that, builders market. You're going to have people like me where, I'm going to want something that looks incredible and unique, but I can't build it all. If I see someone's built an absolute monster on secondary market, I'm like, I want to yoink that. I want that to be my land, where then, everyone's going to hang out on my land plot, when we bring in multiplayer and NFT integration. If someone builds this absolute beast of like a mansion or something, I'm like, yeah, I'm taking that. And we hope that, this builders market sort of really propels later this year. I think that is what makes us, very, very unique compared to, other metaverse projects that will have land out there. Our holders can completely customize this plot to, whatever they want it to be, and they can then sell this off, to other people. I think that's something where, like, you see, it's sort of like, what I want to say, like the Sandstorm with their platform, with like having builders create stuff for other projects and all that stuff. We want it to reach that, that sort of level. But yeah, like all these plots you're seeing on the screen at the moment, like they're all made by holders. It's like incredibly talented individuals. And I just can't wait to see, the possibilities behind it, where, we bring in multiplayer and people can, click on someone's land, join it, and then, there's going to be like chat functions and all that stuff. I think it's going to be incredible.
How many different plots of land are there?
There's 1,000 at the moment, and it's quite limited. We didn't want, some crazy, like other side 100K land plots. It's a small supply, the center of our metaverse. And if we can grow it, there's a lot of ideas I have behind, the growth behind the metaverse and what to do. But we wanted to make it small supply because it's all about rewarding holders. We're not going to create something that has 100K supply where we can't, give value towards that. It's all about giving value back to holders. And I'm unsure if I sent you guys the picture, but I showed a sneak peek under my Twitter of Squishy Map, which I saw it on the screen. No, never mind. My memory saw it. There we go. This is a sneak peek. It's not the final version, but we've got a bunch of question marks on the map. That's up for people to think what that is. But existing holders will be able to reserve that land plot that they want. There's going to be mechanisms behind reserving specific locations and stuff, and you'll be able to see one's build configuration on the map,
Yeah.
and you click on it, you see the person's, Twitter handle, Discord ID. If the user, the holder, wants it up there, they see that. And then once we bring in multiplayer, you'll have the ability to, click on the plot, click join, and then, there's a lobby where, you can have, social, like just like gatherings or whatever. And yeah, that's something I'm, looking forward to like so much. I think that like that's going to be incredible. Some of
Yeah.
these land plots you see that people have built, like, just being able to hang out as your squishy in that, and then, be able to have these like cute jumping emotes and chat with people. I think it's going to look incredible and just like sort of just demolish all like other metaverse projects, that are doing this something similar. Because I think like ours is just like that much more next level and high quality. I
Yeah.
just can't wait to release it.
Well, awesome. I can't wait to see it. And like you said, I mean, people are crazy with the stuff that they can build. I look at, you know, stuff people build in the sandbox, and I'm like, dude, I don't even know how to put water down. Like,
That's exactly what I'm like,
yeah.
And I say there's like we held a build competition that ended on Christmas. We had like a $2,000 prize pool plus like giving away NFTs.
Mm-hmm.
And just seeing that, I was like, dude, like this is, I couldn't even think of, trying to build this stuff. Like my head can't wrap around any of that, creative side of things. I was like, I can't wait. This is sort of just like the beginning of what I want this platform to be. And it's
Mm-hmm.
already reached this like, incredible level of quality already. The future is just going to be like, huge.
Yeah. And speaking of the future, something I guess the last thing we could talk about, you mentioned IP and wanting to build a strong squishy brand. I believe I saw you tweet a couple of days ago something about plushies, and you guys were wanting to do squishy plushies.
Yeah. So, yeah, merchandise is, we're just having a limited edition drop. It took me a long time to find, some really high quality, um, production companies and distribution, because, I've got a lot of issues with, how a lot of, NFT projects especially handle their merchandise. They'll do some cheap ass print on demand solution, um, you know, put crazy markups on their product and then say, hey, look, we've got merch.
Yeah.
I wanted to, at least with merch, have it, somewhat affordable pricing, super high quality. And, I wanted a plushie because I truly think the Squishiverse can dominate the plushie industry. Like
Yeah.
every single squishy is just perfect for a plushie. You know, it's just like, like the vision I want is like, I want us everywhere. You know, I've got my plushie in my room, and it sits on my desk, and everyone that comes in my room is like, what is that, and how do I get it? And
This image right here, is this an example of one of the plushies?
yeah, and the shirt as well that we have. And yeah, we're very close to releasing that. All production is done. It's sort of just like engineering changes on the website.
Yeah.
But pretty much like everything's ready, and we're ready to launch it. Just some engineering changes. But yeah, I think we can be absolute powerhouses, especially with plushies. Like every single person um, that has seen it is like, how do I get one? You're gonna buy me one, right? And like, the hoodie as well on the shirt. My whole family is like, hey, you gonna buy me one? I was like, maybe.
I mean, no, they are perfect. Like the shape and everything, the cuteness. It is like the perfect plushie. Do you guys plan on doing, I guess, something similar to kind of like what Pudgy Penguins is doing, where they're letting holders license out their Pudgies to make
Yeah,
toys?
yeah. I definitely want to reach that level. I've said it a few times now. I really, respect what Luca Netz is doing with Pudgy Penguins,
Yeah.
and the vision he has for that and what he wants to do with the Pudgy Penguins. It's very aligned with what I want to do as well. And I want to have licensing ops with the plushies, and I want to get to a stage where some big studio that works with like Netflix or whatever brings on our animation, then we'll have licensing opportunities within that. I firmly believe that like plushies will be the best like industry we can infiltrate, where all 8,888 squishies can be plushies. Like I just think that all of them are so perfect. Just to be like, this size plushie is like, pretty good, but we could even make them, even smaller, and all those, squishies would be perfect for that as well. I think that, we can just like
You could also make them
really,
bigger.
yeah, like really infiltrate. Oh, dude, I got someone who asked me when am I gonna make, a full like couch
Win
cushion, like
beanbags.
beanbag. Yeah.
Yeah.
So someone asked me that. I was like, oh man, I wish. I think I remember, like saying like love sack or whatever.
Yeah.
If I make a squishy love sack, that'd be pretty dope. That's a fire collab. My DMs are open. But yeah, I want to, create I think maybe it's an overused term saying IP powerhouse, but that's truly what I want. I want us to be everywhere. The iconic slime character we have is something that, it's an IP that everyone knows through either anime, like reincarnated as a slime, through games such as Ragnarok or Maple Story, or, even like stuff like Terraria. Just the slime character itself is something that everybody knows.
Yeah.
And I think it's just such an easier IP for people to identify with and, really be on board with it. If you look at, the top IP companies in the world, such as like Pokemon, Hello Kitty, and so on, like these guys, like a fat chunk of all their revenue has come from merchandising. And that comes from, how strong their IP is, how, memorable it is to, watch Pokemon as a kid or play their games as a kid or all this other stuff. It like just having something where people identify with it and, they like the IP for what it is, the story it carries. I think, that's the key to, becoming an absolute, monster with it. Just like the penguins, like they're so incredibly cute. It's going to be so easy for them to, go into the toy industry, the plushie industry, because they're so cute, and
Yeah.
people would, buy all their stuff because, of their whole cute appeal and, the strength of their IP. And yeah, I want to be everywhere. I want to get on TikTok. I want to get on Instagram. I want to be on Facebook, LinkedIn. I want to be everywhere, and just, ingrain this blob into everyone's head. That's my mission for 2023.
Well, let's go. I mean, I hope it happens. I wish you best of luck. Like I said, I've been watching Squishy since Mint, and I think I have like 3 squishies that I'm still holding, and really hope to see the project progress. I'm excited for the future, and yeah, I really want to say I appreciate you coming on today.
Thanks, man. It's a pleasure. I really appreciate, you taking up your time to have me up on the stage. Yeah, it's always a pleasure. And, I love what what the Sandstorm are doing as well. So, yeah, I'm truly honored to be up here with you. And obviously with, a creator like yourself, Sharp, it's, great to be here sharing the stage with you.
Well, no, anytime you want to. Well, I can't make those calls, but hit up Slayerade. He'll get you on the schedule. And yeah, I hope maybe after Descend releases, and you guys, we have some more to talk about. Feel free. I would love to have you guys come back on the show and get an update.
Yeah, for sure. I'm down for it. I'll leak all the alpha, especially with like, I feel like Squishy Land and the building aspect behind that is definitely, something that's pretty aligned with what the Sandstorm are doing. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely down to come up on future shows, and yeah, it's a pleasure being here as always.
All right. Well, wait, once again, thank you for coming on. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys check out Squishy. Links have been dropping into the chat. Also, Descend GG on Twitter, so you guys can get updated on the new dungeon game that is coming out. Squishiverse.com. And thank you guys for watching. Have a great weekend, and we will see you guys in the next stream. I believe we'll be live again on Monday around the same time. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you for listening, and thank you, Sandstorm.